of our lives. Some are called to be evangelists, others prophets, and others even maybe teachers. And then there is that select group that I like to call that has the all-inclusive bundle package, which is like our first lady. She's a first lady, a pastor, a prophet, an evangelist, a psalmist, need I say more. Trusting God is not only trusting him that he will be your provider and your healer, but trusting in God of the calling that he has placed over your life. I include myself when I say this, that we come up with so many excuses to why we cannot do the will of God in our lives.
Come on.
And either whether we like to admit it or not, what we really are saying is, God, I do not trust you. Or maybe you find yourself like Peter in verse 28 when he says, tell me to come to you on the water. This is you asking God, God, what is it that you want me to be? What is it that you have called me? If you want me to pray, I'll pray. If you want me to sing, I'll sing. If you want me to pray, I'll pray. God, what is it? And then you get your confirmation. And this is verse 29 when Jesus replied, come. This is when Peter begins to get out of the boat and begin to walk on water. You're praying, you're fasting, you're seeking the face of God like never before, and having that true relationship with God. And then out of nowhere, you begin to sink. You begin to lose faith and trust in God, because faith and trust in this subject comes hand on hand. And you ask why? Why am I sinking? Because you begin to look around at your situation, which is the wind that Peter noticed when he was walking on water. You begin to doubt yourself. You begin to sink because the thoughts of your past come to mind. You say, I'm not good enough. And then there are the people that are talking about you. The people that always have something to say. But the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter, because just like the disciples were watching Peter walking on water, those are the people that are commenting and talking about you. They're on the sidelines. They're not doing what God has called them to do. They're just sitting back watching you. And they're upset with themselves because you're doing what God has called you to do.
Right
and
now.
they're back here because they're afraid and they do not trust in God enough to do what God has called them to do.
You better preach, girl.
You better shut your mouth.
I'll shut it up.
Good word.
If I were on the boat with those disciples, I would have been walking on water with Peter. Peter, you walking on water? I'm walking on water with you. Why? Because I trust in God. I wouldn't be like those disciples watching Peter like, oh, he's walking on water. And then they want to be the ones to criticize you when you're sinking. But they can't criticize you, because what are they doing? They're just sitting on the seat right here, watching and getting fed service after service. So my question to you tonight is, are you trusting in God for what he has put in your hands and your calling? Or are you just like the disciples sitting on the sidelines? Amen.